So let's talk about the 5 levers that are found inside the Dials and Lever book that I'm currently writing. You have 5 levers. The first one is going to be nutrition. Next up, strength training. Then you're going to have cardio, daily movement, and recovery restoration lever, right? So which lever do you think would most likely benefit most people the fastest? You're correct. The nutrition lever is the one I have to pull the most for almost any person that I'm dealing with. All right. Now, what dials are underneath this nutrition lever that I'm speaking of? This lever that would have the biggest impact on your fat loss and physique aspirations. Well, you have the protein dial, you have the fat dial, you have the carb dial, you have the meal frequency dial, you have the beverage or alcohol dial, you have the eating out dial, right? So each one of these dials most likely are going to have to be moved up or down, right? Protein, almost always I'm going to have to dial up. Carbohydrates, I might have to dial down in some cases. And in some cases, if your exercise level requires it, I may have to dial up the carbohydrates. A lot of times, depending on the quality of food that I'm seeing in a food diary, I may have to dial down the fat. Now, the fat, I would dial down a lot of, especially when it comes to losing fat. So how many times I have to dial down the fat and dial down the carbs at the same time? But I'm never touching that protein dial unless it's going up. Rarely ever, I don't think I've ever had to dial the protein dial to move it down because I want satiety, right? So I'm always going to either keep the protein dial the same, but more than likely, I'm going to have to increase or dial up the protein intake while playing with up or down the carb and the fat. Now, the fiber dial, I'm definitely going to increase because I want satiety. So increasing protein and fiber will increase satiety. Satiety is super important when it comes to losing body fat and losing weight. Nothing ruins a diet faster than being hungry all the time. So I want to increase satiety without increasing calories. So it's important to play with satiety and play with those dials that have the biggest impact on satiety. Now, alcohol, most of the time, I'm going to dial down alcohol because it is empty calories, and we want to always look at calories that are beverages that are containing calories. So we're going to dial the beverages down, especially if it comes from alcohol, those empty calories from alcohol. We're also going to play with meal frequency. If somebody's having, say, maybe they're snacking way too much, I'm going to dial down the meal frequency. So we're going to take out the snacking or severely reduce snacking. So meal frequency, I may have to take down, and that's where we put the structure in the day. You know, is it going to be 3 meals, 4 meals, 5 meals? I don't know. Depends on the person's lifestyle and what the goal is. But the meal frequency and snacking is something we always have to dial down most of the time, unless you're severely under eating. Eating out is another dial that I'm gonna always ask and keep track of how many meals someone is eating out per week, and if it's too many, I may have to dial down the eating out. Move that dial as well. So there's a lot of dials under the nutrition lever that would have a huge impact on your results. That has nothing to do with exercise. That has nothing to do with strength training lever. It has nothing to do with the cardio lever. So nutrition is the number one lever I'm going to pull when it comes to fat loss or changing someone's physique. And I look forward to teaching you all about each one of these levers and all the dials that are underneath them very soon when I'm finished with this book. If you have any questions about the Dials and Lever diet, please comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Have a wonderful day.